It's the afternoon session for MotoGP's 8th round of the 2025 World Championship. Welcome to Motorland Aragon as we get ready to decide the running order for both Q1 and Q2 in what is a turning point in the championship coming into this season. Who knows what's going to happen over the next hour? The green light is about to go on. Green light and away we go, and the final afternoon session here from Motorland Aragon is underway. Moto2 and Moto3 have had their practice sessions. Now it's time for MotoGP to head out onto the circuit. We're just watching Jack Miller venture out now. Johan Zarco, conditions are superb. Air temperature at 30 degrees Celsius, ground temperature at 48 Celsius, 10 km/h wind speed though, so there is going to be blowing just ever so slightly the overall circuit here, so there will need to be a few changes, but it's not as bad as what we could have witnessed or expected coming into this one as well. Still, it's going to be fun. Let's say good afternoon to Gavin Emmett and Stephen Hodgson in the comms box.
Moment, you're also trying to give Ducati a hurry up, aren't you? You're trying to just get across the frustrations that you're feeling.
Yeah, because if he does have that reaction, then we know Saturday going, someone's a little bit grumpy. We would though, so,
it's true.
So you can't win, can you?
No, not from
That's why I love being a commentator.
Point of view. Yeah, because you can say, ooh, that's all you want to do. He did pick his hand back up as he said that at the same time as well.
That's Michael's bag.
Right, here we go then, as Marc Marquez leaves. Interesting, Fabio Di Gianantonio behind him, because let's not forget there's all this talk at the moment about who's going where. I thought it was great to see Susie and you guys early on talking about all the different chat that's going around the paddock. I didn't think that the rumour mill was going to click into gear early this year. I thought, one factory seat up, Luca Marini probably stick with him. Johan Zarco, he probably wanted him to sat like yada yada. Well, Jorge Martin didn't read that script, did he? He dropped his bombshell before Aprilia All-Stars last weekend. That wasn't an awkward time at Pisano, was it, last weekend?
Yeah, I've seen some pictures and it just looked strained, didn't it? It was like Jorge Martin was having a conversation with Paolo Bonora, and I thought, you know what, it's tough. After you make your statement, I'm releasing myself from a contract, and then you have to go off TR duties for your manufacturer. Yeah, timing was not on Martin's side.
He had to have like an elastoplast around the back of his head to keep his smile open like that, because it just looked painted on.
I looked at a lot of the images and I thought, surely it'd have been better for him not to go and just come out with an excuse to say he's seen a specialist. But it's such a big event for Aprilia.
Yeah. And look, he wants to heal the wounds. He wants to come back and ride for the rest of the season. He actually wants to give it another go. But whether Aprilia give him that chance, I saw that Paolo Bonora had made some comments earlier today down in the pits that, look, we want to be able to work with Jorge, heal the wounds. Hands across the ocean, perhaps, from Aprilia. Let's see what happens. But there's no doubt about it. What it has done is got tongues wagging across the board, because there's talk about every single manufacturer has something going on, don't they?
Yeah.
All of them have got things on in the background, whether it be the GP25 for Ducati, whether it be Pedro Acosta wanting to go there, whether it's KTM's ownership, whether it's Yamaha's V4, whether it's Honda's situation with the factory bikes. Aprilia,
Martin potentially could be
and all that, and
Acosta could potentially be going to Honda.
Or Johan Zarco, or all these. Everyone now has something.
Yeah, you're so right. When we thought it was going to be, well, we'll talk about the racing, but there'll be no other big chat about rider movements. But it's
even the top rack thing, which I think is brilliant for MotoGP if he were to come. None of it's been confirmed, but the rumour is that it'll go to Pramac Yamaha, and they actually today, Gino Borsoya said, Yamaha have spoken to Top Rack about
that came out of nowhere.
I think it'd be brilliant, but again, that's another level, isn't it, on top of things throwing into the mix.
And I was thinking about that, surprised he's come a year earlier, and he said he only wanted to be in a factory team. Look, if they've given him a chance to sign for Pramac, it's a Yamaha, sign a Yamaha contract, you have a year in Pramac, you look who's in the factory team now. Rins is struggling. You can't imagine Rins getting another deal at the end of next year. You just can't. I mean, age-wise as well, everything's working against him. So then you're in the absolute perfect position to slot into the factory team with the rule change, with the Pirelli tyres. Boom.
Well, the one thing for Toprak, from his point of view, is you see Augusto Fernandez out there as a wild card here this weekend for Yamaha, and actually went well earlier today. Was 1.6 seconds off, down in 15th place. But what, for Toprak's point of view, is there's tracks to learn.
Yeah,
he's not been riding a lot of these racetracks throughout his career, so it just gives you that chance to settle in for a year, zero pressure, no one's expecting anything, and then suddenly you'll have the bonus of a tyre that you are fully familiar with.
A lot of tracks as well, Michael, when you think about it.
Yeah, when you think the 22-round calendar now, Toprak did run in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, so a few of the circuits that remain he will have learned. If you think of the flyaway events, he's been to Indonesia, he won't have done Malaysia, I don't think. He may have been there at some point. Obviously, he raced the Asian Talent Cup, didn't he? I'm trying to remember if he did.
A long time, I think it's a long time ago, though.
Yeah,
well, we're talking over 10 years ago, aren't we?
But yeah.
Oh, that was a moment.
Big snap from Mark.
Sorry.
Alex, yeah.
Through the final couple of corners there for Alex Marquez. He goes to the top with a 1:48.5.
So just to confirm, this is what happened 3 hours ago, and we got the news that Toprak Razgatlioglu, Yamaha. So this is just after we came off air from this morning's show. Yamaha have confirmed that they have a contract in place for next year. So it's quite. Yamaha have had some contact with Toprak about next year, and there may be a contract on the line. So Toprak Razgatlioglu may move BMW in the World Superbikes over to a Yamaha bike. Now, is that Prima Pramac or is that factory Yamaha? Presumably to replace Alex Rins, who's had an injury this year, but we know has been nowhere near that of Fabio Perez. Bagnaia has done a 1:47.843 to go top. Vinales, Mia, Alex Marquez, Bashir Morbidelli, Acosta. Now we've got Marc Marquez, Aldeguer, and Di Antonio jumping through that mix as well. So the top 10 that are highlighted for you on your screen to go through to the next session. Still finding some time. But yeah, right, get back to the... This is Alex Marquez quickly at the last corner that Neil spotted. Mid-corner, elbow down, and the front. Does it dip away from him on entry? He was a little jump, yeah. Front starts to curve upwards like he's going to go for a high side, corrects it, but can't bring it back too low. So he's turning into the left, the tyre starts to go up to the right, corrects it, almost counter-slides the rear, and it's just a little bit of a wobble. And that, we're watching that at 25,000 frames per second. In reality, it would have been like, whoa, like we saw on the television, just a little straight. Okay, so Prima Pramac, Yamaha team director, confirmed that contact with World Superbike reigning champion, saying that rumours are rumours. Of course, Yamaha have had some contact with Toprak. They are discussing. We are talking about next season, but we also need to think about our riders. Our riders have shown great potential at the moment. We have to understand if we want to keep the same lineup as this season. But as always, we're in discussion. Now, Toprak has raced MotoGP machinery. He did the test at Jerez in 2023. Finished in World Superbike that year, though. Then last year got 13 in a row. Borsoli said, it depends on the agreement. We have two different agreements with our riders. We need to study deeper and talk with the managers about the future. We are still thinking about the lineup next year. I don't want to add anything more. As I said before, rumours are rumours. No contract has been signed already with Toprak. We have just opened a window for discussions between here and summer. We need to understand where our riders are, and we need to take a decision. That's it. So we did the El Turco did the Red Bulls Rookie Cup, and he did do Moto 2 in 2011. His manager did that, going back forward there as well. So that's just breaking news that I've come through. So Toprak might be coming with Yamaha. Let's get the thoughts of the boys.
I think that Michelin was saying, what's Aldeguer running in front of his front tyre there? Now I wondered if he gone with the hard. They were just saying, watch out through your turn 2s and 3s. Even in these temperatures with the hard front, you still have to activate it. It's got a modified casing here this weekend. It does mean if you early on in the laps, There's a sequence, isn't there, from turn 15 round to turn 1, long time where you're not on the right-hand side of the tyre.
It sort of sounds crazy with these temperatures, but it can affect the grip levels.
How many crashes have we seen in turn 2 over the years?
Loads.
It's not exactly cold here, is it?
No, not at all. Well, it's been better in recent years. I mean, remember the Bridgestone era? That was like, it looked painful. Well, it was, but it looked so difficult for the riders.
Bsky up into second place. This is a track where...
all of a sudden, it's really tight at the top.
Yeah.
Going around this morning, Mark had got 0.9 of a second over the field, and as it stands, we've got 0.9 covering the top 15.
He's running medium tyre front of rear, as are the majority of the field at the moment. Mir didn't have a bad morning. He ran wide on a couple of occasions. 7th quickest. He was top Honda earlier today, and the talk is his seat might be under pressure. I know he's got a 2-year deal to the end of next year, but in terms of the moving people around, there's talk of that as well, isn't there?
Yeah, the factory seat is open, you would imagine, to, well, Johan Zarco. We know Lucio Cecchinello wants to keep Zarco in his fold, but that is a factory ride, essentially, in a private team. Could they move Mir aside into LCR, promote Zarco? Could it be that, actually, you suggested it this morning, both the riders in the factory garage get moved across to LCR? You just don't know what the bosses are thinking.
The fact is, Marini's out of contract at the end of the year, which is where you think, okay, yeah, it's less of a sticking point there, is it? And I have the feel for Luca Marini. He's the only MotoGP rider, Neil, that has not crashed this year.
Yeah, finished. Oh, he crashed at all.
Not once has he crashed in MotoGP this year. Only rider not to have crashed this year. He goes for a test at Suzuka.
Yeah, that's...
And he's punctured a lung, dislocated hip.
Oh, I forgot about his hip.
He's had a lot happen.
Sternum. But, like...
You're not saying that, are you?
No,
So
no.
that's... when I heard it straight away, I'm like, well, obviously he's not flying back. He's still in... I think he's been moved to Tokyo now. He was in Suzuka. But, you know, if he can come back this week, he's going to be laid up a while.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be laid up. And timing's everything for what a horrible time to pick up an injury where he'd a chance to prove himself, but
That is always the risk.
that's the risk, isn't it?
Changing tyres, changing bike. He's on Bridgestones on a super bike. Obviously, it's a big part of HRC's season. The Suzuki are one of the priorities for Honda, for the Japanese, and unfortunately for Luca, that's a good stat though. No crashes all season.
I didn't realise that.
On a bike that has been crashed a lot when you look at his teammate, Joan Mir, even though it's got a lot more feeling this year, providing the riders with feedback. But yeah, that's a shame for Luca, obviously.
None for him, right? And 10
For Mir.
Wow. No, sorry, 9. It's 10 for Morbidelli, and it's 9 for Mir.
Here's one thing then. I'm going to say a strange thing. Shock. So, Marini, 0 crashes. Get ready for what I'm going to say. This is a drum roller. That's not enough. Like, you have to crash more than 0. You have to. Otherwise, the team will be like, what? We expect you to push to the absolute limit. If you don't... And I know it sounds weird. You're going to think, I can't believe you're saying that.
No, but I also know, because I know what you're going to say.
And 9 crashes is too much.
Exactly.
It's like somewhere in between.
I think you said it earlier this morning in practice. I want Mir and Marini, you want the best of both.
Yeah. I want that articulate, sort of intelligent, good test rider with that fiery, I'm going to just ride the absolute wheels off this bike. And that in between rider is Zarco.
You know what we're seeing here with Mark Marquez?
He's not bothered that his teammates behind him.
No, but he's also just built into it.
Yeah, he's built into it, but also...
He just took his time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, we've been talking about how first 4 laps is his weak point. We're laughing at each other because we're talking about the man who's 24 points clear of Alex Marquez and 72 clear of Pecco in 3rd.
It's quite a surprise, really.
He's gone top now, 147.3.
Yeah, Mark tops the board at the moment. So we've got Marc Marquez for Marco Bezzecchi, Alex Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Maverick Vinales, Pedro Costa, Jack Miller, Felmin Aldeguer, Brad Binder and Fabio Di Gianantonio. That is your top 10 and your ones automatically through to Q2 after the opening 15 minutes of this 1 hour practice session here at Motorland Aragon. Don't forget, we've also got the test on Monday. We're covering that here on JB Motorsports as well with the timings. We'll be on JB Motorsports 2 for that one. Mia 11th, Quartararo 12th, Rins 13th. Rins, a bit of an improvement there, 148.369 on tap with Fabio Quartararo by 53 thousandths of a second. There's Ayagura missing out this event due to injury at the British Grand Prix. And now we've got to Maverick Vinales running in 5th position on the KTM. Let's see where he can go as well. We're halfway, 1/4 in to this race.
Technical check at the track yesterday. They say it's progressing well.
This is Ayagura.
Had surgery. It was the top of his tibia that he's cracked, just under the knee. Had surgery on it to try and get it together. They say it's a hairline fracture, but it isn't ready to come back. Not quite knitted properly. Right decision. You know what? Do you guys agree with me that I feel like in years gone by, whether it be Jorge Martin, whether it be Oliveira, whether it be Ogura, the riders aren't being rushed back as much?
No, you're right. I think a bit of that is now, it's so difficult, MotoGP. There are not obvious replacement riders. So you're better off looking after your asset and keeping him off the bike so he heals properly, so he can come back and get you results. There's no point in having an injured rider and prolonging that injury and you're doing nothing riding round, because it's so fast, it's so close at the top. If you come back and you're injured, you're going to be battling for last, so there's no point. So just make sure you can heal up and come back and be ready to attack.
So Fabio Quartararo wasn't the most effusive about this circuit, but has taken 3 pole positions in a row.
I don't think it's going to be 4. So it's a track that's, for whatever reason, I don't know why, it's not worked for him in the past. Had a horrible injury here, if you remember that, with that first lap crash with Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
Coming out of turn 3, where he lost the rear, didn't he? Mark ran into the back of him. It was messy.
Sort of felt like that was one of the turning points, wasn't it? Here is Quartararo down towards turn 1.
Really giving it hell,
Test
isn't he?
here after the weekend. Yamaha say they won't be bringing the V4, but they will be bringing new engines.
Sounds like Augusto's got 2 specs to test on track here during the race weekend as well.
I'm presuming that whatever he's testing now is what then Fabio and the rest will
try on Monday.
That's so good, isn't it, to be able to do that, to test those 2 engines in race scenarios, race situations, out on track with other bikes, see what's the slipstream feel or the power feels like down the straight, acceleration against the bikes. You've got so much quality information, and that gives Fernandez's feedback, makes it so much more accurate. Then it's like, right, that engine's a 1. That's what you want to test.
He's fast as well. 16th at the moment in this session, 1.3 down ahead of Bastianini. Raul Fernandez.
Oh, Fabio trying one-handed
this year.
Yeah, he's turned up in a few.
Is he really? Like, what a season he's having. Enea Bastianini. Think of some of them racers last year. Think of Misano, that last lap battle with Jorge Martin, where he duffed him up into turn 5. Incredible. And just not gelled at all. He's currently 1.5 seconds off, and that's sort of where he's been all season. It's incredible, isn't it?
Could he be looking a way out of Tech 3?
Oh, now.
I haven't heard that, remember?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking...
Let's start it.
Well, no, the talk is Aprilia, isn't there, that there might be a possibility of him. At the time, I remember thinking, because you remember it was sort of an availability, and he decided to go the KTM route.
Yeah.
He hadn't already chosen to go. I think Zeki hadn't chosen to go the Aprilia route, and he knew he was already out before Martin and Marquez had to make their decisions. So yeah, it was interesting.
Change of management as well for Enea.
Has he got rid of Carlo?
Pernat, I believe, yeah, they've separated. I'm not sure who's taking care of him now, but yeah, it could be an interesting one for Enea if the Aprilia seat is open and they fancy giving him a shot on it, because he's a bit, not quite a Maverick Vinales enigma, but sometimes it takes a little while to get him comfortable, get him happy, and when he's there, he's exceptional. So yeah, at the moment, it's not happening for him at KTM.
Yeah, when he's in that sweet spot window, he is just a pleasure to watch. Super talented, gets the most out of the package, but he has to have that bike in that working window, which he's not been able to achieve that at all with the KTM. Not helped by his teammate being so impressive, turning into, as we say that, Maverick Vinales sat in third and Bastianini 17th.
Sadly so, yeah.
Good to see, Bsky up in second again. Looked strong this morning, but keeping a bit of momentum after the victory at Silverstone. And look at this circuit, don't have it down as one of the prettiest strong tracks. So yeah, a little bit of consistency across the board for Marco Bsky. Won't go unnoticed for Jorge Martin, sat at home just seeing if Aprilia are fixing those little chinks in their armour.
Yeah, it's encouraging.
Especially this track, the track that's got a little bit of everything. If your bike works around here, like in Malaysia, if your bike works at Malaysia, you've got basically the base setting of that bike works.
Haven't seen too much of Miguel Oliveira, have we, in recent times? He's down in 19th.
I know it sounds harsh what I'm going to say, but you feel like Chantra doesn't really deserve another year. He's not been in the mix at any point. In fact, the first round in Thailand, he wasn't that far off. He probably
well, yeah, but I mean, I'm only going to be the devil's advocate. His arm pump surgery that he had, he only came back last round after arm pump surgery, missed out in France, and then came back for the first time since that. But you're right, you're absolutely right.
Just it's not as close as it is as we stand at the moment in a championship. And
I agree.
We understand why. Do you know, I was looking at the riders' results. Riders' performances at this track, and his best result here has been a 6th place in Moto 2. And as I read that, I thought, yeah, no wonder he's struggling in MotoGP. Really, we understand why he got the ride, and sometimes it can work out for a rider.
Hey, he's not bad Moto2 rider. He's a Grand Prix winner and podium finisher. But we all knew, but you understand, and we said it before. The championship has to broaden its horizons. We talk about it with Top Rack, it does. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Whether they'll continue with the experiment next year, we'll just have to see.
Wait to say, yeah.
The politics of it, though, do Idemitsu demand an Asian rider?
I don't know, do they?
I don't know. Obviously, two separate sponsors.
They prefer it.
Yeah, you would imagine they would. They were happy with the Japanese rider for a lot of years. Now having a Thai rider, it's probably good for them in the Asian markets. But is it better to have a, let's say, a Luca Marini or whoever ends up in the satellite Honda squad?
I don't know. I think it depends. We're not going to have a Thai Grand Prix by the sounds of things next year.
Really?
No, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, the talk was that they're putting all their efforts, all the eggs in the Formula One basket, and we might not get one in Thailand next year.
I've not heard that.
Yeah, when we were there, do you not remember when we were there opening round of the championship? How
I'll be happy
there
about that.
About not going back to Buriram.
Yeah, just have a year off on Buriram.
It's a long way to go.
It's
popular though, the Asian market, popular in Thailand. But anyway, we'll see what happens on that front. But again, it's one of these national heroes or everything. We know it only too well as Brits, don't we?
Yeah.
Come see, come sa.
I'm just thinking in terms of having a sponsor like Idemitsu, they want an Asian rider on their bike. Mir needs a turnaround in fortunes. I don't think his pace is that far away. I think his luck has just deserted him a little bit here and there. He was caught up in France, unfortunately for him. Another one in Silverstone that just 10th place for him there when Joan Zarco's then up onto the podium. Questions are going to be asked, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Alberto Puig will not suffer fools gladly, nor do Honda in the factory. currently running 11th. Santi still plugging away behind the scenes there at Honda.
Working hard.
Well, hardly working.
And things are moving on, and the talk is about Honda and, you know, perhaps having a look at Jorge Martin, perhaps having a look at Pedro Acosta. Who can blame them? And who knows what's going to come out of the box for 2027?
Well, with the way this bike's improved, and with the people that they have employed, you know, Romano Albeziano from Aprilia, you know, like a proper, I'm going to call him a guru. He's sort of GGS level. They've got things in place, haven't they, at Honda, as they have at Yamaha. We always said we've criticised Yamaha. We've pointed the finger at the Japanese manufacturers over the past 3 seasons, but we have always said, oh, they'll come back. They will not take this line down.
2027 is the perfect chance, isn't it?
It
to
really
get
is.
all your ducks in a row.
And it's hard to call. No one can say what is going to happen. Everyone can have a guess.
Maybe ducks in a row isn't the right thing when we're thinking what Ducati might bring out. You don't want all the dukes at the start, do we? At the front.
Tell you what's worrying, talking about Ducati for World Superbikes, you look at the recent Superbike tests, and you've got Pirro there testing the new the Panigale V4 back in, and it's that you look at it now, and that's got ground effect fairing on it and all that lot. You just essentially, then what happens is then every manufacturer in World Superbikes has got to go down that road, and then
It gets messy.
but you can't blame Ducati. It's not their fault that they've got money into developing and putting their knowledge and experience down into their Superbike project. You can't blame them for that, but then they've already got the best bike on the grid, it looks like, doesn't it?
So Miguel Oliveira improves, as Jack Miller did just previously. Miller up to 6th, Oliveira up to 12th. Morbidelli just went into 13th place. It's Marc Marquez leading from Bezzecchi on the Aprilia. Maverick Vinales 3rd quickest. Alex Marquez 4th. Pecco Bagnaia in 5th place. And Alex Rins now up into 12th. In fact, Fabio Quartararo of the regular riders is the last.
Just had a message from one of my spies down in pit lane. It said, FYI, they're just having some problems with Fabio's ride height device again. They're messing around with the tail, trying to get it working. Thank you, David Emmett. Oh, no, I've done it. That's Gav's father, by the way. It's another well-respected journalist.
As Emmett's get about, you know.
Founder member of the Paddock Pass podcast. Co-owner, CEO.
All of Steve English and Adam Wheeler and all the rest of them will have something to say about that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
No, David told me he's a CEO.
Sounds about right. So Jack Miller's gone up into 5th place now. He's running the soft rear tyre. As I said at the start of the session, in his pre-match blurb, Piero Taramassa reckoned that soft could be, if you could look after it, could run race distance. Not if you're running this kind of pace, obviously. You're going to have to dose it out.
Did he say the soft offers more grip, less stability, and where the medium is less grip, more stability?
Absolutely.
We used to love Piero Taramassa's when he's
mainly when there's 3 tyres, basically.
Yeah, but it was always like the exact same thing. Don't tell me the soft tyre offers a bit more grip, but won't last as long, and the medium offers a bit less grip, but will last the full distance.
On board with Fabio Quartararo. They get the rear ride height sorted. Oh, yeah. Your heart bled for him, didn't it? Last time out.
It was done, he'd won it, hasn't he, really?
Oh my word.
Just at the moment where you'd expect the rear to start. Well, do they actually get to put the rear ride height down now? I don't think they do they?
Right at the final turn, I don't think they do, actually. It is a short run, the home straight.
Fabio didn't crash a lot as well. He's another one with a lot of feeling. Also been down twice.
4 times this year. One more than wins.
That's your sweet spot there, isn't it?
Sweet spot, I'm happy with that.
Yes. So you're going around the scorecards. Luca, need to try harder.
What are you doing? You're not crashing enough. You what?
Fabio, yeah, you're about right.
You are the parts manager's best friend.
Yeah. Would you agree with me though on it, Mike?
Yeah,
I know it's
100%, yeah.
Without sounding like I'm being really harsh.
I think if you're not crashing, you're not trying hard enough. Obviously, there are anomalies like a top-ranked Razgatlioglu who has an innate feel for his front tyre and doesn't have that many issues where it does let go on him. He can take it to the limit. But then you've got Marc Marquez, who's very similar, but actually in his heyday as a Honda rider, liked to throw it away 26 times a season. But he
29 in 2023.
Was it? Wow.
But more and more and more.
He's
So what it was?
14 in 2019, which was one of the highest.
29 in 2023. That was his last year on the Honda, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, he did 5 in a weekend.
Yeah, 24 last year.
Yeah. 24 last year's not bad.
Do you remember that Saxon ring? I will never forget that weekend.
When he was stood on the barriers.
In morning warm, after the morning warm up.
Thinking.
It was 6 crashes that weekend.
Yeah,
Do you know what? I wanted to go around and I wanted
take the key out the bike
I
and put
wanted
it in your pocket.
I wanted to kidnap him. And it sounds bizarre. I wanted to just save him from himself. It was horrible to watch.
Stop.
It was, yeah. It was awful.
That was where the decision was made, you feel.
That was done.
There was Assen and there, wasn't there? But it felt like
the decision was made.
Even I remember Jerez crashing into the fast left, was it turn 6? And just seeing
turn 7.
You turn 7, sorry, yeah, that entry, and seeing him reach the barrier and walk away, and that was the start of the lack of belief in Honda, and it just went downwards really quickly into that summer break.
On board we go with Frankie, who's been...
Yeah, and while we do that, let's do a quick time check with half an hour to go. Morbidelli runs wide at the last corner and breaks himself, similar to what we saw this morning. So time check then. Marc Marquez, fastest, 147.212. And before anybody yells at me, yes, I'm getting that up now on the monitor. There you go. So you can see all of the information for you back at home. I need to fix that actually. But basics, you can see the running order. So it's Marc Marquez, 147.212. Marco Bezzecchi, 147.642. Maverick Vinales third. Pecco Bagnaia just jumped up to fourth for his best lap time. Fermin Aldeguer fifth. Alex Marquez sixth. Pedro Acosta is 7th, Jack Miller 8th, Franco Morbidelli 9th, and Juan Mir rounds out your top 10. As we just take a look at what happened to Morbidelli coming into the last corner. Just on entry, the front dipped away from him. He's a left-hander downhill. Front dipped, so he immediately sat the bike up. A little bit of wheel spin from the back of the bike as well, actually, on the rear tyre. You could see. It was just an acceleration. It's just an entry. As soon as you pull the throttle, it just dips away from you at the back. Brad Binder's 11th, Fabio Di Antonio 12th, Alex Rins is 13th, 14th, Fernando Bassini 15th, Miguel Oliveira 16th, Fabio Quartararo 17th, Johan Zarco 18th, Raul Fernandez 19th, Augusto Fernandez 20th, Lorenzo Salvadori, Solcat Chantra's gone into 21st, and Augusto Fernandez just improved up into 14th place on that last lap time by as well. So there's been some improvements out there. Send it back to TNT.
That means it's expensive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the bike's gone. Yeah, that's what happened to Morbidelli. Bike's gone. There's blue smoke coming out the back of it, and he's back in the pits.
Yeah, with that incident at Silverstone, obviously we don't know what was said. We saw the pictures. What we saw was Aleix Espargaro, was it lap 1, crashed, lost the front into the Vale chicane and wiped out his mate. Obviously, I'm joking. Frankie Morbidelli. They don't get on. They've not got on for years. And then you could see them having words on their way back into pit lane.
He has got a crack in his ankle, hasn't he, Frankie?
Yeah.
He rode with, the race with. Brilliant ride in the end, battling with Marc, and then, racing with it this weekend. Fabio Quartararo every time through turn 1.
Can't get it stopped. No,
ready to punch the lights out of his M1.
He was just considering giving his dash an uppercut there, wasn't he? And he just thought better of it.
Well,
about 3 times we've seen it now.
What's annoying is that he's 17th fastest. The man who has been on pole position for the last 3 weekends.
So go on then. We talk about this bike. The old thing was not turning. you know, as he would necessarily have liked. He seemed to have had it sorted. So what do we reckon's different about Aragon?
Doesn't like the track.
Doesn't like it.
Unfortunately, it can be a case of a track that doesn't click for you, no matter what settings they throw at it. Alex Rins was up in the top 4, was it, this morning in the practice session? Jack Miller's looked good. Augusto Fernandez is strong. So Fabio is the anomaly at the moment. He'll find a way to get it up into the top 5, I'm pretty confident, but he's not going to be the pole hound he's been over the last 3 GPs.
Even then, through turn 1, just didn't look right. Soft rear tyre in. As he heads up through the fast kink of turn 6, tightens for 7, flattens out over the top of the hill here. And over a crest, down it plunges towards the corkscrew.
Again? Yeah, by a mile.
Ah,
The problem is when you miss that, then the next part of it, that section's so tight, so you lose all your drive out of the
Oh,
It's not happening at all, is it? It's weird. I don't know if he might be on getting close to mileage on a tyre as well, like he's not a lot of grip.
He's sat high or something, I don't know, something about it just doesn't look quite right.
The graphics saying he's out there with a new soft rear on, but yeah, on the side of the circle I'm looking at. Oh,
No, you're right,
I'm
you're right.
Sorry, with his quad out.
Used medium front, new soft rear tyre. Zarco's used that to go 11th. Go again here as he pulls out back down pit lane. Well, the rear ride out device is working. Sat down there. It has popped up on this occasion.
Pedro's on a good lap. Marquez has currently got half a second on the field. He's sort of built that throughout this session.
On the medium tyre all the way through that speed.
Yeah. And his fastest laps were the last laps. He's done about 15 laps on that tyre.
This is interesting for Pedro. Hard front, medium rear. New, both of them. Oh.
That looked sketchy then.
Pedro Costa up into 2nd place. And there we are, frustration for Fabio Quartararo.
well, I mean, the last 15 minutes that we really get the go point in this session when everyone comes back out on the track to do their quali laps.
Sylvain Guintoli and his BMW team, fastest in Q1.
At Spa.
Over at the qualifying for Spa.
Good.
Q2 coming up later on this afternoon. You can watch the coverage starting Saturday, 11 AM on TNT Sports 4 and Discovery Plus. That's, of course, the second round of the FIM Endurance World Championship over in Belgium. That's why there's no Sylvain here this weekend.
Let's hope the weather's better than round 1 in Le Mans.
Or last year, I think it was in Spa, wasn't it? Back then as well, yeah. Yeah, I hope so for everyone concerned then, because that is one track through Eau Rouge, and I really wouldn't fancy that one when it's sketchy.
It's one of the few tracks I've not had the pleasure of racing round or riding round even, so I would love to. I believe it's one of the best. Patient says everybody. So it's one of those places. So it's not like, I mean, I've not seen this animated for a while. Do you know why? And it's so refreshing to see, because the belief has come back. He now expects to be up there. We'd lost the flair of Fabio. If you think about it, we've lost him for 18 months, really, where
It accepted defeat.
Well, resignation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the bike, and there's nothing I can do. But now he expects it to be better, and you're obviously trying some things, but nothing's working.
New spec, is that more of the current spec for Chantra with the Honda?
Definitely.
Looks
Look
like
at the back
it.
of the
It looks
bike.
a lot more like what you'd expect to see, but he's bringing it back down a bit low.
Yeah.
Perhaps some parts that are in Luca Marini's garage have filtered down to the tyre rider. Obviously, it does happen when you get a rider sitting out for a weekend. There are a few parts that need to be tested, and they may utilise some Kiat's experience.
Certainly the rear of the bike looked more up to date. See, he had that weird bulbous sort of looked like a bigger mass damper that we saw Honda test at the start of the year.
It was from Sepang, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Right,
And Chandra got stuck with it, didn't he?
So Mir's gone with the medium front and the soft rear tyre, and he's in touch here. He's currently in 10th place, Mir. The majority of the field are back in the pits. Only Mir, Di Gianantonio and Viñales currently out on the racetrack with just over 20 minutes remaining. If you are just joining us, we've had a fairly steady session. Marc Marquez has pushed the pace on at the front. Times tighter than they were earlier today as Mir goes up into 7th spot. Main story really has been Quartararo's frustration with his motorcycle. On board with Maverick. Was back to playing football last night. Hadn't played this year and decided to have a go last night.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say you played football with him last night.
Yeah.
I believe he's quite handy on the pitch as well. What position does Maverick play in, Gav?
He plays where he likes, sort of thing. He plays like a motorcycle racer.
Selfish.
Yeah. But
Don't pass.
No.
Does not pass. And make the lines, basically.
He's talented. He's a sportsman who can lend his hand to anything by the looks of things.
Yeah, I spoke to a few people in the paddock about the game. I heard you had a mare.
I had an absolute stinker. I'm not going to deny it. Rubbish.
Also give away a goal, I believe. All you had to do was pass it back, and you just decided to. Who was it that tackled you?
Manuel Poggiali.
Manuel Poggiali, you name dropper, you.
Shouldered him off the ball and then gave it back to him. You know, just thought, hey.
I mean, there's a
harmony for harmony.
There's a weight advantage. Poggiali must weigh 60 kilos wet through.
He's written though, he's got Manuel, he always has been.
I know.
Nick still, you know, works as a rider coach for Ducati. Hervé Poncharad's been in the news over the last couple of days. Interview he gave, first of all, to Tom Beaujard, French journalist. It's been discussed at length, and then I know a couple of people spoke to him yesterday about the possibility of future investment in his team, Neil.
Sounds really interesting, doesn't it? What's it called?
Gunther Steiner.
That's it.
Former Haas team principal.
Absolutely.
In Formula One.
Would I be correct in saying that Haas have done better after he's left?
Yes. Yes. Not at all.
Not saying that he wasn't an asset to them.
They were a new team. They were a new team.
But no, obviously he'd be a massive asset to our paddock. And he's such a character, Gunther, if anyone's watched Drive to Survive. And yeah, obviously taking a keen interest in our sport and our paddock with the Liberty Media acquisition, we think, imminently about to happen.
It is any time now, isn't it? Yeah, that's when the cut-off date is. And everyone I speak to in the paddock has it as a done deal. Hervé saying as much himself, but what it's led to is people looking to invest. Who knows what the situation is with KTM, but he has a deal with KTM until the end of next year, but maybe they can't support in the way they have with sponsor before. Like obviously it's Red Bull on the side, so maybe he has to find money on that side. And Hervé outwardly saying, I've got to look after the situation here, and that's where possibility of further investment. Yeah, I know you were talking about it earlier, this American consortium, Lewis Hamilton. You know, there are a lot of people looking at getting involved, trying to get in at, shall we say, with the lift at ground level.
Yeah, I think everyone is well aware of what Liberty Media were able to do for Formula One. Now, if they could do half of what they managed to achieve for Formula One, it'd be incredible for our sport, and it would potentially probably triple, quadruple the value of every team in this paddock. So it would make sense that some people are interested in getting involved.
Absolutely. And if it is a bit of fresh investment, again, as I say, things like the Top Rack thing are just good for the sport as a whole, and you want fresh investment, fresh eyes on things. I know they've appointed a new fan engagement marketing company, Two Circles, I think it was, in the week, especially looking at the US and UK markets, which is great news for us.
Definitely areas of, I mean, we know the turnout at Silverstone was very disappointing for everyone, so
And it will go back to August next year. That has been announced. It will be that weekend in August. What was the date? 7th to the 9th in 2026. So that's already been decided for anyone who didn't fit in with them. I expect anyone
A lot of people
who's in
like
that situation is perhaps over at the TT currently.
Just watching it, Gav. Hutchie was in a podium place halfway in the first lap and just had to retire there. I'm not sure what's going on.
Right, okay.
Got it.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh.
Yes, that is Michael commentating, managing teams, leading the commentary. Anything else you've got this weekend?
No, not this weekend.
No.
Yeah, just the standard.
Just a standard 12 balls in the air.
That was his lap gone there for Aldersgate. He touched the green paint. There's a lot of track limits here. Outside of turn 1, outside of turn 2, outside of turn 3, outside of turn 5, and then turns 12 and 13 you've got on the outside. And out of the final corner is another one to keep an eye on. Just have a see here where Pecco Bagnaia goes. If you go just too much on the outside there, you see where the curve came back in? So while there are some Misano curbs around this racetrack, there are other parts where you haven't transgressed. Pecco Bagnaia
Just forcing it a little bit too aggressive on the change of direction there, and he sort of just tied it up in knots.
That was close to being a big
down
one.
side of the bike there, up through turn 3. Pecco isn't an aggressive overrider, is he?
No.
When he's quick, he's smooth.
He so is. That was him just forcing it a little bit, but that's what you do when you're not quite feeling it. How many times have I said to you, Gav, the weirdest part of our sport is when it's not quite happening, what you end up doing is trying harder and going slower, and you've got to take that step back and let it come to you and let it flow and be natural. That's how Bagnaia rides.
Meanwhile, while Bagnaia and Morbidelli not improving, Fernandez behind them is picking up a little bit of time. But look at Marc Marquez, his first lap on the soft tyre this afternoon. And he's found 2/10 in the first sector alone.
Was it the second sector where he seemed strongest this morning?
He's just found another 3/10.
All right, I had spotted that actually.
Well, that is through Marc Marquez corner. It ends between, turn 11, between 10 and 12 there. This is into the final sector for Bagnaia, who has found time as this lap has gone on. But then look where Marc Marquez is. 8/10 between them, effectively, in lap times.
Yeah, Bagnaia's first sector was super scrappy though, so he'll know that.
Marquez down into turn 16, a slight twitch as he tipped it in. Bagnaia up to third, Morbidelli up into 6th place. Raul Fernandez goes 14th, whereas Marc Marquez comes to the line now and goes top by 3/4 of a second. His nearest rival is Brad Binder in
Mark is
second,
just
not
away.
just one behind. Shall we go home, check out? Is that possible? Is our hotel? We can cancel the hotel, can't we?
I mean, it's just incredible, isn't it?
Well, a 1:46.397 is 3/10 outside of the best pole position lap and 5/10 outside, half a second outside of his all-time lap record.
Yeah, it's some lap, isn't it? Just incredible. It's just Bagnaia on his fastest lap at the end of it. I've seen him do that a bit as well.
Turn 1 again,
turn
the
one.
look down as well.
Yeah. Whatever the feeling is, because we can't see it, can we? Because the bike's not doing anything bizarre. It's not, let's say, backing in too much.
Carola, his sister, seems resigned. Demizia looks anguished. His wife, and Jesus Alinia nonplussed. Down in the Ducati garage as Johan Zarco goes 4th. Pedro Acosta up into 2nd. Acosta's going to have something here this weekend by the looks of things.
Doesn't it?
Have you seen what they're trying to do? Because they all went to Austria, didn't they, in the week? Pedro, Brad, all of the KTM riders were over in Austria and making demands effectively to the factory. But Brad Binder's comments were, I'm excited by what's coming.
Oh, that's good.
The team was saying, actually,
Hopefully,
we are bringing parts, we are bringing things.
Payments for his first 3 invoices he's put in.
Allegedly, you're saying that. I mean,
So I'm making that as a joke. That's not been said. I feel like I'm going to back that up.
No, I think you probably do. Yeah, need to back that up. But
that's positive.
They are pushing on. They are trying things.
Was that including
Turning was what they're on about.
Maverick and Enea, or just the factory?
Yeah, well, my understanding was all of them. It wasn't clear. I know definitely Brad and Pedro talked about it.
Yeah.
Quartararo up to 15th, 1.4 off. You know, behind Marc Marquez, it's really tight.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Between Morbidelli in 4th and Bastianini in 17th, half a second.
It's close between all of them, yeah.
One's being cut adrift a bit. Oliveira 19th, Savadori 20th, obviously you'd expect, and Chantra 21st. This is not waking up for Somkiat. As Vinales comes, you'd expect him to go up, and he does, into 3rd place. Looks like the KTMs have got a little bit of something. 3 of them, as it stands, going through, but there's still 10 minutes remaining. Alex Marquez, can he, again, day one, I don't feel like I've seen much of Alex Marquez out on the racetrack.
No, I haven't shown him much, has it? It's a track he goes really well on anyway, but I think they should put it up to 2nd.
To the line, and he does go half a second behind his brother, 146.9. Looks like you've got one flying lap to have a really good go at it. Everyone appears to just sit up as soon as they've done their lap.
Yeah,
it's hard work around here.
Hard on the tyres, hard on the left side, lots of long corners where you accelerate. So
Mir up to 6th there, same time as Frankie Morbidelli. It's a good lap from Mir if he can hold on. Still think you're probably going to need to go again with 9 minutes remaining. Pecco Bagnaia definitely is. He's in 10th as it stands.
yeah, like that we saw, it wasn't a good lap for him. It was pretty scrappy. Yeah, in 10th.
Jack Miller's back down the pits. He's out of the 10 as things stand. In fact, no Yamahas in that 10 at the moment. Miller is
This
top
is that
Yamaha.
little moment. It basically spun up out of the first corner as he was then trying to pick the bike up and change direction, so that's why it sort of snapped. Let's listen to it. Just going to see a couple of attempts.
Tommaso on the left, who does his data. Christine Gavarini at the back, his crew chief. Oh, look at the frustration here for Quartararo.
You look at the Yamahas, 14th, 15th, 16th and 18th. And 19th.
Those hand signals there.
It's not turning, it's pushing me forward. If we're going to see another, I'm going to see another foot off. If we do, it's like, how many times have we seen it? Like, how many times have we seen it?
Don't look fun at the moment.
No, it don't.
Quartararo out there.
Hard work.
Yeah, how frustrating though when you come off a Silverstone weekend where you pretty much had a win in the bag, bike work, pole was in the bag, and then you turn up here and it's just not clicking, it's not easy, and it's utterly frustrating the man at the moment. You can see it's evident in his gestures and his face, but hopefully they can turn it around for him here.
So Bagnaia down towards the last couple of corners, 16 and 17. When he comes across the line, he'll set off on his next flyer.
And that squad are hoping he can get a nice clean lap, get some feeling, give some good feedback. Try and get that gap down from, well, it's 1.2 at the moment.
Just see what's next, yeah.
He needs to be looking at Alex Marquez if he can get sort of within half a second of his teammate. Would be respectable.
Better start to the lap on this occasion. The problem here is
bit
got
of traffic he has here, which it just takes your eye through that part of the track. Hard not to just look at them a little bit.
Miller and Bastianini, both former teammates that he comes through on.
And he's going to get Aldeguer. Oh, thankfully he got out of the way nicely.
Yeah, did well.
Yeah, that's better, much better.
Definitely an improvement here for Bagnaia. Can he keep it rolling? Down through the corkscrew.
See what happens next.
Through 9. Then turn 10, Marc Marquez corner. As you start to light it up, attacking down. This is where the second split comes up. Does he get the edge of the curb? He's lost a few tenths in there.
5 minutes to go.
Doesn't.
That looks nervous.
Yeah.
It really does. But do you know what you feel like what's probably happened? They're having to try things because he's requesting that, and then you end up. It's really common. You end up going down a dead end, a cul-de-sac, and then you lose the sweet spot.
He's found time in that third sector. Actually picked up time in comparison to Marc Marquez.
So
Third sector worked in the slower part of the racetrack.
so there looks a lot of transfer on the bike as well.
To the line from Bagnaia up to 5th. Is that going to be enough?
147.292.
No, going again.
So it'll be tight. I don't think that would be enough if he was to back out of it. But will he have another lap left on those tyres?
Well, Fernandez also. It's that second split where Marc Marquez is killing him, it feels like, yeah. Through 9 and 10, isn't it? Because actually the majority of that second sector are right-handers through 6, 7, 8, tight of 9. So Ralph Fernandez down the back straight.
Bagnaia's had a good first split, much better again.
Marco Bezzecchi in front as he comes to the line now, goes to 4th place, the winner of the British Grand Prix. Looks like he may well go through to Q2. Ralph Fernandez up to 9th, flying solo at Trackhouse this weekend. Right, third split. This is where Bagnaia was actually making time.
Yeah, he's fast through there.
Yeah.
You're all right. He's going to need this lap, I think.
Everyone is out on the racetrack now. Final ones to join Zarco, Vinales and Acosta. As Pecco Bagnaia comes to the line, that's him done for this session, you feel. 147.1 should be okay, but with Aldeguer in 10th on a 47.4 and everyone pretty much to go again, you wouldn't guarantee it. Here is, for me, Aldeguer. He has just improved into that 10th spot. Jack Miller went 12th, Bastianini 13th.
Oh, big switch for Colorado.
That's Quartararo again, same part of the racetrack. Exactly the same spot. Feet off the foot pegs again. It's not going to work.
On a good lap to that point.
Really good lap.
Getting through the first sector quick. But yeah, it just keeps losing the rear in opportune moments.
You can't accuse him of not trying, can you?
Snapping on him, isn't it?
Again.
You wonder whether this is electronics. They've got the way they've got it dialed in. We know that in theory they've rolled it back, the electronics.
Yeah, they wanted to put it a little bit more in the rider's hand, but sometimes you go to a lower grip track and could be a little bit, you could be onto something there, Gav.
Alex Marquez up to second place again, or regains the ground, 0.2 behind his brother. Brad Binder third. Excellent from Binder.
Really good. And rare that we see Brad, I don't mean that being critical, but Brad struggles on a one-lap charge, isn't he, always?
Only been in Q2 once this year, yeah. Brad Binder.
Just to underline it. Mia third now.
Impressive from Mia.
If he could make it
Oh,
through
they're very
there.
happy.
Round of applause. I think whoever clapped his hands there, one of his colleagues said, hang about, there's a way to go yet.
There is, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's several riders that are improving. As you can see on the red sector time deltas as well, just coming up through and through the order. Marc Marquez, he's safe enough, fastest third sector of anybody so far, but they are coming through thick and fast. Aldeguer stays 9th. Bastianini just misses out by going into 11th position. Pedro Acosta goes fourth, 147 exactly. Salvador 19th, 148, 123. Maverick Vinales jumps up into third position as well. Zarco jumps up to fifth. So already that's kicked out. Yeah, it's kicked out Franco Morbidelli. Zarco and Mia dragging in those Hondas is what is really, really good news. Bad news is Fabio Quartararo down in 18th position. Does not look like he'll have a fourth pole position in a row. He might have to go through Q1 at this stage. He's not looking like he's on a better lap time either with 25 seconds to go. Last lap time for D'Antonio. He's coming to the... Well, it's registering him in the pits now, but I've just seen him go past the start-finish straight, so I don't know why Digi's being referenced in the pit lane. He is not in the pit lane, and he's not taking the checker flag either. So that's an unusual timing delta glitch. I literally just saw in my own two eyes across the corner. Here's Franco Morbidelli, though, into the last corner now. Checkered flag is out. Who is going to be the running order for this one? The top 10 will automatically go through to Q2. That's the rule. Over the line. Morbidelli's 12th goes into 9th. That kicks out his teammate, D'Antonio. He's officially out of that one now. No time set for him in the first sector. Morbidelli's not improving. Alex Marquez stays in second. Of course Morbidelli's not improving, he's just got 9th. Ralph Fernandez in 14th. Quartararo is out. Quartararo is 18th. And as Plug points out, all of the Yamahas will have to go through Q1. Fermin Aldeguer goes 8th. That kicks out Marco Bezzecchi, winner from the Silverstone race 2 weeks ago. Miller, 8/10 down, might find something as the flag comes out. Nope, stays 16th. Vinales stays 3rd. I don't see anybody else improving. You can see the sector times, the same as me up here in the commentary box. No one else improving. So, your top 10, Marc Marquez, Alex Marquez, Maverick Vinales, Juan Mir, Pedro Acosta, Johan Zarco, Brad Binder, Fermin Aldeguer, Pecco Bagnaia and Franco Morbidelli. Having to go through Q1 is Marco Bezzecchi, Fabio D'Antonio, Enea Bassini, Ralph Fernandez, Alex Rins, Jack Miller, Augusto Fernandez, Fabio Quartararo, Lorenzo Salvadori, Miguel Oliveira and Somkat Chantra. Quartararo's unhappiness with that bike several times in that session, glitching him off down at turn 12, and unfortunately that's where at the moment. What a bad end.
You could see the frustration was evident, and it escalated and he couldn't really settle the ship.
In the end, Marc Marquez didn't even need to use another tyre, did he? I'm not sure whether he went out on one or whether he just kept the same tyre. I didn't see him pushing on at the end there at all. He knew it was done, and so that gives him, you know, just an extra little bit of an extra tyre there to use as and when required. Marc Marquez fastest by 2/10 from his brother Alex. And then it's tasty, isn't it? Behind, Maverick Vinales 3rd, Juan Mir 4th, identical lap times for the two Spaniards. Pedro Acosta 5th, Zarco 6th, so 2 Hondas through. Brad Binder, I am pleased to see that. He said he was, you know, looking at this weekend from a confident mindset. 7th for him, Aldeguer, Bagnaia, Morbidelli, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Did Mark spin up again a little bit?
It looked like it.
Yeah. I think if we were on board with him, it sounded like it.
He's doing what we normally see from this man. Never see Bagnaia for a few spin-ups. Then they seem to dial it down for the race.
It's a short run, isn't it, down to
so short.
Turn 1.
Oh, that was good.
There we are. Yeah, ride height device-wise, turn 1 and all that sort of thing, isn't it? Getting that dialed in.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Was it you who had the theory about the launch, that they turn it right up while they do these practice starts to work out how much you can have?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Essentially, they're giving you more power. So you've too much. Oh, just like that. And then they can just wind it down, just dial it down a little bit. That's my theory.
That's good news, isn't it, for all of us? Maverick Vinales back in the mix.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that it's not just him. Acosta and Binder are there too.
Really good news. It's a long season, isn't it? We're only at round 8, so if at this point now KTM could get a little bit of direction, we've got that test coming on Monday.
Well, all the news has just been negative. All the spin this year, the media for KTM has been negativity. Yes, there was the bright spark of Maverick early on in the year, what happened in Qatar, then, you know, that got taken away from him. But, you know, in general, the news hasn't been great from Austria. And this just paints a good picture around the track where, you know, you need a bike that turns well.
Herbert's like a schoolboy motocross dad.
Isn't he?
He's there like doing you're third in that session. Just that's his passion, isn't it? I mean, Herbert's had a team in this paddock since early 80s or mid 80s, and it's like it's his first season.
Quite hear what Maverick said there in the back. As Pecco Bagnaia comes in. Less jubilation down in that side of the Ducati garage.
Not bad Friday for him overall, though. Securing a Q2 spot and showing a little bit of promise, but it is frustrating. You look at the timesheets and you see you're almost 8/10 off your teammate. I'm trying to paint a good picture here somehow. There's a silver lining in there.
When you started, then I've got glasses on, but I had to have another look at the time, and I thought, well, it's 0.8 off his teammate. I don't know. Maybe he's had better Fridays.
He's had better Fridays, you're right.
Worse. It could have been worse.
That's exactly what Michael's saying, isn't it?
Could have been worse, yeah. There we are, shaking the hand for Romano and for Alberto Butch, having seen Joan Mir go joint third. There is no doubting this man's pace. He is a MotoGP world champion. There's no doubting it. It's just the fact that there have been far, far too many crashes this year. Last year, a lot of that last year put down to the bike, but already he has only scored points in 2 races, 9th in Argentina and 10th in the UK.
I can't live.
Did someone turn his microphone off? Not exactly.
You don't always feel that whenever you see the microphone, you just think he's going to... I don't know why that song came. It'd be more... Go on, give us an Italian song, Gav. I gotta do...
Oh my God. Seriously, who's in charge of his microphone? Please take it out of everybody's
Whoever made
ears
the
back
decision
home.
to allow me to commentate on every session, I've had too many coffees now by this point.
Bring in the copies for him in the interim. Wow.
Well, there we go. What a day. Final look through the entire running order on your screen there as well. It really has been bizarre. Tomorrow, bright and early as well, we've got action from British Touring Cars at 8:55, and that's on the main channel. Here on JBMotorsports 2, live coverage of practice 2. Then we switch back over to the main JBMotorsports channel for qualifying and the TSO sprint. Then we also got NASCAR. Here on JBMotorsports 2, we've got the GB3 from Spa-Francorchamps as well. Oh, we're in Zandvoort. Well, one of the two. I think we're in Zandvoort, actually, for that one. But either way, I'll be taking you through all of the action as well coming up shortly. Weird day. Mark's still fastest. Let's hope he can keep it. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.